the second live stream since I've returned to YouTube after taking a pretty lengthy, almost 6-month break. And in that time, I haven't really done much game dev. I haven't really been on Dreams on the PS5 for quite a while as well. I think I've just sort of like came on every now and again and just made like a little thing here and there, but most of my gaming time has pretty much been spent trying to go over my backlog and trying to finish some games. And I'm noticing that most of my taste goes towards survival horror games and RPG games. So normally I've been making a survival horror game through the live streams, and occasionally I did make some progress on some RPG games I wanted to make in Dreams as well, and this was one of them. This was we called it The Legend of Beuveretta, and it's meant to be like a first person RPG, kind of a bit like Dragon Quest, a bit like Skyrim, but obviously a bit more cartoony and comical and things like this. And this was the first area that I kind of went back to try and, you know, flesh out some ideas. But to be honest, I think I'm going to delete all of this. I think I'm just going to go in and start fresh because I have a lot of new ideas. So I don't think I'll be using this, but I'll show you what I made roughly. You know, this was off stream when I did this. Let me just bring up the chat before we get started. So I'm still going to live stream the survival horror game dev stuff. I just wanted to do something a bit light today before we get back into, you know, all the horrifying and gruesome things. So let me see here. I'm just going to bring the chat up on screen. Okay, but I hope everyone's been doing well. I don't know if any of you guys are still creating in Dreams yourself, but I'm still on Dreams. I'll still play things that get released. Okay, let me go in here and get the chat up and running. I always say this every time. I hate how slow YouTube is sometimes. Like, even just to load a tab takes forever. But also, I wish the PlayStation streaming had an actual box that would stay up on the screen, and it's not like the really ugly PS4 one. It would be nice to customize it a little bit. I was thinking about doing like PC streaming at some point, and then that would give me more options. But it is a bit more work, and it's something I need to look into before I go through with it. Right, let's put this in here. Okay, I put the thumbnail with Zelda, even though it's not a Zelda game. It's kind of inspired by that in Dragon Quest. Okay, so there we go, got the chat up. Hello, Hal Schmoomin. Welcome back. We're bringing Beuveretta to life. Hey, Crazy Dude 13. Joshua Drake. Thanks for asking about me in the comments. It's been a pretty crazy month, health-wise, and over the past year or two. But I'm starting to feel a lot better now, so hopefully I'll be getting back to these streams and video creations a lot more frequently now. YouTube recently made it so that it loads slower if you're using a browser that isn't Google based. Could be that. I mean, I'm using Google Chrome, so I have no idea. it should be fine. But maybe they do want you to use the mobile app. Speaking of mobiles, let me just check. I think you sent me something on Discord. Let me have a look. Here, oh, you're giving me some ideas here. Here's a concept. Instead of help, it said help, and they spelt it wrong. That's why no one helped them. They just read it as help. Oh, whatever that means. How about having some lost city you can explore by draining a part of the ocean? That sounds interesting. So far I'm liking the ideas you've got going. They all sound pretty cool, especially once all the crinkliness is added. It's going to be awesome. I know. I think that's what we need to do. We need to add like layers, and eventually once we get to the crinkly layers we'll start to make some crazy stuff. So this was me like just starting off. I was like literally just, I felt like getting back to this game. The previous area we made was like a big field, and I think we started making like a farm, and I didn't make any progress on it in a while, but I kind of got back into the mood. So this first area, it's kind of like you were on this ship and you had to take like a rowing boat to get to the shore part, and I was just sort of blocking things out, like so we've got like some of the cliff edges and some rocks and things. I didn't really place things too carefully. I was just kind of throwing things around to see what I could actually use, like from the community assets. But to be honest, I think I'm going to get back to making my own assets. This was really just to flesh out some ideas. Here's an example of some of the crinkliness. We decided to make like a palm tree, but then just make it blue instead of green. So little stupid things like that. A mad crab here. These were just some concepts for some enemies and stuff, you know, and I made them quite big so that you have a chance of actually hitting them with your character. But that was me just sort of fleshing out the first kind of point here, and then you were going to kind of jump up here, and this was just more assets. I was trying to work on like a path and stuff, some grass and some flowers and all that kind of stuff. So there's not actually much to this scene as it stands, to be honest. So I think it looks okay, like the concept, but I've got a completely different idea for what I want to do now, and I do want to get back to making my own assets again. Just take my time to sort of build environments and finally make some characters and some enemies and stuff. So I think I'm just going to delete this, to be honest, and we can start blocking something out from scratch. I think I'll just keep the water, because I don't know how to make water. We'll keep this little character here just so we can run about, but I think everything else, I don't know, maybe I think I just made this sand like really quickly, to be honest. So I don't think I actually need to keep this. I think I'll just delete everything. No prob. Yeah, appreciate it. Definitely think you should keep this little short area. It looks great so far. Yeah, I mean, the idea I had for it now was, so you see how there's cliff edges on both sides. I wanted it to be a bit more open. I suppose I can keep this idea, but I wanted it so like you could actually see the shore, like go all the way up there and all the way up that end. But you know, there'll be things that block you from going that way, and I wanted to have like, I don't know if I can make a good example with this massive rock, but I kind of wanted to make like you know, like a cliff like that, and then like say you go through here, and it takes you through, and then there's like another big sort of beach area. And I think rather than me trying to manipulate everything here and change everything, I think it's better just to start from scratch. But I'll use the same idea. It's just I think I work better from a blank canvas, because if I start editing this, then it's like, what do I keep, what do I change? It's more, I think it's more work. So what is it, double tap X to select everything. So let me keep the character. Did that work or not? I don't know. Oh, you're deleting, it's too big to undo. You won't be able to bring it back. I don't even know if I've selected that, because I'm trying to like select everything and then like select that so that it deselects, but it's still kind of highlighted, so I don't know. Or is it highlighted? I don't know, maybe it's glitchy. But I'll keep I want to keep the ocean, the character. Maybe I'll keep this boat, I don't know. You know what, screw it, let's get rid of it. So this should delete everything except from the character in the ocean. Hey Spikeful, nice to see you again. What new game is this? So this is going to be if you remember, a long time ago I took a break from Subject and I started making this beautiful lush RPG field, and we were going to make a first person RPG game called The Legend of Beuveretta. And this is me just sort of getting back to that idea, because I fleshed out a lot more concepts for it. But like I said, I'm still going to make horror games. It's just right now, because of everything that happened, I'm trying to be on the light side right now. So I don't know if you know, because I don't think you were in the last stream, but I basically nearly died before Easter, and it was because of undiagnosed diabetes type 1. So now that I'm back from the brink of death, I kind of want to stay away from the concept of death right now. So I think I'm going to try and make like a happier kind of thing right now. I'm just trying to get back into like the swing of streaming and making videos and stuff, like just for fun. So, you know, every week, it's not like I'm going to make this game every week, you know. It just depends what my mood is. Next week I might be in the mood for making more of the horror game, and then we'll just sort of, every week it'll be like something to do with game dev, so who knows what project it's going to be. But I'm trying to stay away from the idea of making like committing to make like a full game in Dreams, because we all know the state of Dreams right now. It keeps getting worse, you know. Now they've basically got rid of all the curators inside Dreams, so there's nobody actually creating playlists or editing the front page anymore. So I think they still do some live streams to show off some people's creations, but the in-game part, it's all algorithm now, and I don't know how many people play this anymore. And you saw what happened to Little Big Planet 3, they took it offline completely, and so all Little Big Planet games are offline only. Could happen to Dreams. I don't know if it will happen anytime soon, but like I said, I don't know how popular Dreams is anymore. So I'm going to still create in it. It's just like, if I'm going to release like a big massive game, I just don't feel like it should be my main objective. I think I should just like create like this area, like I'll create like a full beach kind of area with like a few quests. I'll release it, and then if we make more, and eventually it might become a full game if we actually get through all the ideas I've got. Same with the horror games. Eventually we might get to a full game, we might not, but I'll just keep releasing like the game piece by piece. At least there's something to play for you guys that want to still play Dreams. And anybody that doesn't play Dreams, they can still, you know, hang out in the streams or watch some progress videos or just have fun making games you probably wouldn't get to play like commercially. Oh damn, sorry to hear that, man. Hope everything has been fine since then. Type 1 is where you're born with it, right? Yeah, basically it's like, people say it's genetic, but I don't know anybody in my family that has diabetes, so I don't know how accurate that is. But yeah, basically type 1 is when your body kind of attacks itself. So you've got your pancreas that creates all the insulin, and my body basically killed all the beta cells inside the pancreas, so it doesn't produce insulin anymore, so I need the injections to do that. Whereas type 2 is if you kind of force it on yourself, like you eat too much sugar, and eventually you can cause that kind of reaction. So type 2 you can avoid it, type 1 you can't. It was going to happen to me at some point in my life. I read that it happens a lot when you're a child, but for me it didn't happen till early 30s, so I've heard that it can happen to people much later in life as well. So it just kind of triggers, and I guess over the past couple of years my body's been slowly stopping the production of insulin, and I was losing a lot of weight. That's why I kind of stopped streaming as much, because like I was losing weight, I was losing energy. It just didn't feel like coming on stream for like a few hours. I just didn't have the energy anymore. It felt like it's kind of like that feeling when you don't eat for a long time. So it's like you're hungry, but it's another feeling. It's that feeling where you feel like really drained, and I've basically felt that all day, every day. I just felt drained. Doesn't matter how much sleep I got, how much I ate, I just felt hollow all the time, Hey Jesus Saves Forever, nice to see you again. Great people still making stuff in Dreams again. It's started to again. Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to leave Dreams. I'll say some bad things about it sometimes, because I don't think Sony, or even internally, like the way Media Molecule wanted to make it. Some people wanted to make a game engine, some people just wanted to make a toy. But Dreams is pretty damn good, and I'll keep supporting it, I'll keep working in it. I wanted to go to like Unreal Engine or Unity, but right now in my life I just don't know if I can spare the time or the energy to learn more game dev tools and engine tools. So I'm going to keep just making stuff in Dreams, just have fun, take my time. If we finish a game, we finish one. If we don't, we don't. But as long as we can still hang out together, and I'll check out other people's creations from time to time, then it's all good with me. I started again, I mean. Oh, okay. Oh, that's great. I know you and is it your brother that used to make a lot of games together? If I remember right, you guys made some pretty good games, so it would be good to see if you're coming up with some new stuff, even if it's more smaller scale. Making stuff in Dreams. Yeah, I only know like a small handful of people that still create in Dreams. A lot of people kind of gave up or went to other engines and stuff. Hey Stu, hope you're doing well. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to try and delete this. Boom. Right. It worked. It basically deleted everything except from the ocean and this little character here. That's what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. So, unless there's like one tiny rock somewhere I forgot to delete. But basically that environment I made that a long time ago off stream. And I'll still use some ideas from it, but I feel like I want to start from a blank canvas. So it's going to be an RPG game. You're going to start on the shore after you came off your ship. You're going to try and make your way to the Beuveretta castle, where you are going to marry, I guess, the princess. but it's not as easy as it seems. There's going to be a lot of quests along your way. Going to be quite comical, I think. What am I doing here? I was going to put on the floor again, right? Just so I can see where the central point is. Thanks, dude. Colin and I are playing No Man's Sky and watching your stream. Who says lads can't multitask? What were you talking about? I was trying to make something. Sounds brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to try and make the survival horror game and other horror games and stuff. It's just right now I kind of want to make something a bit more light. And I was thinking about like all of the things I want to make. Say like I really knuckled down and I made a survival horror game or an RPG game, and it took me like a year or a year and a half to make all the things I want to make. It's probably going to take me a long time, and in that time I'm probably going to get tons more ideas. So I thought, you know what, let's just throw all my ideas out. Like, let's just make something, bring it to life, and that'll be that, you know. It can be short, it can be long, doesn't matter. I just want to make a few different like concepts. So like, you know, like the first level, the first chapter, that kind of thing. So if I can only make like this game, say it lasts like an hour, I make a horror game that lasts like 40 minutes, then that's good for me. Right, so I'm just going to make some really crappy shapes, right? So, in fact, let me just put the grid back on. Right, so I'm just going to make like some really crappy objects now, right? So we're going to pretend that's a treasure chest, alright? I guess I'll just make like a big sort of block for like a rock or something. You know, something I can use for like the walls. And then I'll get like oh, maybe I'll use like a cone or something. Maybe, I don't know. I was going to use a different shape for like a small rock. You know what, let me just duplicate this one and I'll just make it a bit bigger. So we'll use this for the walls. That's a treasure chest, that's a rock. Some foliage we'll need. I guess I can add all that stuff later, but I'll add like a tree. In fact, let me just change the shape so that it looks better. It's funny, I've not played Dreams in a while, but I'm still doing everything like, oh, I'm still doing everything like from muscle memory, you know. Right, so we'll pretend that's like a tree, right? Like a palm tree. That's like a rock. That's a treasure chest that we can open. And these are just like the walls and stuff. Give or take. Give or take. So I still want you to arrive on the beach, right? But I want it so that it's not closed in. I want it so like it looks like there's much more vastness to it, if that makes sense. Because I felt like the original design, it's like when you landed on the beach, you were kind of trapped a little bit. I want it to seem like, wow, this is like really open and you can see the other islands in the background and things like that. Maybe that's what I can use the triangle for. I'll use... we'll pretend this is like an island, right? A really pointy island, right? Big cone island. Hey Dino, welcome back. It's been a while. Hope you've been keeping well. I know you were saying you were having some burnout yourself recently with creating. I hope you're doing a bit better now. I'm just doing like stupid shapes for like islands, and even though it's not an island shape, but just for now. And I'll pretend this is the ship that we came from. So we'll just do everything kind of rough just now. So we came from a ship. I had to put the other one quite far back, just to make it look like it was far in the distance. Yeah, hope to get a lot done today. Oh, that sounds good. Are you creating just now? I always like it whenever I'm streaming and other people are doing other things at the same time, like they're creating or chilling out, you know. Feels like you're not just alone, you know, doing all this hard work. Right, so I guess the best way for me... Oh, I think I took... Did I? No. I think the best thing for me to do is just to flesh out the boundaries. Yep, all very nice. What is it you're working on? Are you still working on your mechs? Did you ever release that co-op mech game? That looked pretty sweet. Right, you know what? Let's just go freeform, right? So you land on the beach here. I want it like I said, I want it so like you have to go through like a little, it's not a cave, it's just kind of like just a little bit where you have to like go underneath, you know. So this'll look like trash for now, right? I like blocking out levels, but at the same time it's like I like my graphics, you know. I like to add all my detail and stuff. So let me angle that a wee bit just to make it look like a bit more interesting. So it has to be obvious to the player, like, go here, you know. So I want to make it wide enough. And these other parts, it's just going to be basically just like a big cliff. So like what I had before, but the first design I had was like you kind of climb up and you come up to this point, but I want to kind of change that. I want to keep you on the ground level for a bit longer, and then you get to start climbing up and ascend the cliffs. And then I want there to be like a bigger island that you have to cross like a bridge to get to, and it's really windy, and you've got like these crinkly seagulls trying to attack you and all those kind of things. So I guess I'll still keep like a tree here, and you know, some rocks just kind of around the place, you know. Not really to block your path, it's just kind of for some extra detail, you know. Wasn't there a dude on Dreams that got to level 500 or something, yet still hasn't released a single thing? Wow. He must be a perfectionist, just never stops, right? I mean, I understand things taking a long time, because for me it's like I kind of keep working on things constantly. Sometimes things just never end, but at the same time it's like you've got to have something to show for it eventually. I'm doing something for a collaboration right now. I haven't worked on advanced assault game for a while, but I think I might release the tutorial level as a standalone scene soon, not a whole dream. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, even as a scene. Not many people do that, but yeah, if you release a scene and we can test it out, I think that would be really cool. Really cool. Because that's all I'm going to do now. I'm just going to like make like the first kind of area. I'll polish it up, and I'll be like, here you go, you can play it. I'm not going to hold things, you know, too long. I think like it's more organic if I make like a wall, like a cliff kind of like there, just so that there's a little gap you can go in, so it's not like so straight, you know. Turn it a wee bit, make it a bit like that, or yeah, maybe more like that. And this is going to be like the edge of the cliff, but I don't think this part's going to be that high. I might bring it down a little bit, because I want to put like, you know, in Britain when you go to the beach, you get all those, I think it's called reeds. It's basically like those really ugly kind of big tall bits of grass that kind of stick out the sand and stuff. I want to basically use that to like cover bits of the cliff edge, you know. So I'll kind of tilt it a wee bit as well, because I don't want you to explore all the way up here. I just want it to show you that it does stretch on, you know. It's not like this little concealed kind of area. It actually does have a beach that you can walk across, you know. I think I'll just stretch this floor out a bit. It's funny, I stretched it out and it went to -7. Like, that was the part of Dreams and I could never understand. Like, sometimes you stretch it out and it goes up, and then sometimes it goes down, you know. Like, look, -2 again, so I don't get it. Unless it's just like, the more you stretch it, the less detail it has, so it's like automatically adjusting itself, maybe. I could send you a collaboration for the game if you want to test the first 2 levels. I can remove you after. For the scene? Yeah, could do. Would you want to keep it private though? Like I can't stream it or anything? Right, I'll bring this out a little bit more. I'll add some like depth to this, because it's not going to be like a straight line. It's going to kind of, you know, weave a little bit. So once I start putting the finer details in, we can polish up the shape of the sand and things. So I think part 1, we just need to block out something, at least from the gameplay design. I need to figure out where everything's going to go, because I've got some quest ideas and I need to figure out where they're all going to go and where the enemy encounters are going to come from. So I need to try and block everything out, make sure everything's the right space and there's enough room to do what I need to do. And then once we finish that, then we can actually, you know, finalise the placements of everything, and then we can start making the graphics and say like, okay, we're definitely going to have a cliff here, so I'll make a big cliff face. I'll make the palm trees, the treasure chest, and all those kind of things, and it'll start to come alive. But I'm going to try and block this out as quickly as I can. I don't want to spend multiple streams doing this, because even though every area in this RPG game is going to be fairly big in size, I still feel like I can make environments that aren't over detailed, so it won't take me that long. The minus graphics on stretch is sometimes false though if you check the thermometer, so they're just trying to trick us, right? I've already shown the first 2 levels on Twitter, so it's fine if you show it. Oh, okay, that's no problem then. It's quite cool that it's got co-op as well. If it has proper functionality, I might actually try that, because it's rare you get to see a local co-op game in Dreams. Because I think multiplayer, we all know that's what everybody wanted, but if we can at least get it locally, that's something, you know. I'm just going to put the walls here like it's not going to be a big deal, right? Okay. Hey Josh Spears, welcome back. It's been a long time. LBP animation. Yeah, definitely had to change the name so I don't get confused with LBP anymore. Yeah, it's been a while. I've had a lot of health issues lately, but everything's coming together again, so got a lot more energy, a lot more enthusiasm, so I'm hoping I'm back for the foreseeable future. I'll probably keep stretching this out as I go, because this whole area is going to be pretty big, but when I actually create the sand, I don't know if it's better to just make like chunks of the sand instead of making like one big sand piece of ground, you know, because it might lag when I start adding detail. Good to see you, my friend. Yes, it's good to be back. It's nice to hear from you again. I hope your life is going well too. If we can make anything quick to help, let us know, dude. Yeah, it's basically just going to be objects and things, but we'll see what happens, because I don't know how the whole share process works anymore since they changed all the servers and stuff, and you've got like a limit to how many things you can use, and I'm trying to create all my assets inside the scene so I don't have like, I don't waste tons of space, you know. I think we both have our health issue problems still fighting. Yeah, you don't realise that as well. It's like everybody's struggling with something. Right, I'll just delete this one. So maybe I could put like a treasure chest like here or something, you know. We can like hide it behind some foliage, but we'll just say it's behind a big rock for now, right? So you can actually see it. There we go. So you're just going to come here and think, ah, well, it's a dead end, but it's not really. Just put a few little things, you know, lying around there. But I do have to block off the area at some point, but I think I'm not going to use a wall. I think I'm just going to use like more bushes and stuff. Typical game logic, you can't walk through a bush, it's impossible. Even Hal Schmuman is here, great to see him. Yep, Hal Schmuman is definitely one of the biggest fans of Dreams. He's still making his Cyber Spy. I guess he's still making the original expansion, plus he's making a second game. Excited to see what comes from that, because it always gives me some extra motivation to know that there's still some people creating in Dreams. There's still, you know, we're still trying to make our projects. I'll just put this here. The man, the myth, the legend, the leg, John Jerry Steve's leg. We'll never forget John Jerry Steve. He will always be part of our history. Beuveretta, of course. Right, I think, how would this look? Can I make it a bit open, but then it'll kind of close off a little bit. So we'll start on the beach. Let me just see the scale of this, because right, so you'll start here, you'll have your ship over there, some cone-like islands. We'll have our little rowing boat here. We'll flesh out the sand and stuff. Some of the mountains, we'll have some of the rocks and the grass around. Don't forget the hidden treasure chest around here. But I'll block this off with like bushes and stuff as well. Just enough that you can see that the island goes a bit further. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to make this part a bit bigger, because if you start here, like, you're pretty close to the cliffs, so I might extend this a little bit more, just so that there's a bit more that you need to walk to before you get straight to the... I want you to be able to get off the boat and look up and see, like, oh, there's something, and not too far away, but just enough that you need to kind of walk towards it, rather than like just be here straight away. So I might actually do that just now, just to give a bit more scale to the whole thing. Sony is dying, unfortunately. I don't think there will be a PlayStation 6. Who knows? A lot of people say that, you know, they're making a lot of bad business decisions, and which is kind of true. I hope they don't just keep making remakes and remasters, because I think that will kill them. I think I'm tired of that business, you know. Like, apparently they're removing Horizon Zero Dawn from PlayStation Plus because there's going to be a remake, and I'm like, a remake of a PS4 game? Like, do we need that? Like, it's one thing remaking The Last of Us, it was a PS3 game, okay, like, I don't think it needed it, but to make remake a PS4 game 1 gen later, it's like, it's a bit much. You know, and they're not going to charge you like a budget price for it, they're going to charge you the full 70 quid. So, I'm getting a little bored with how PlayStation are acting, you know. Like, I literally just I bought Final Fantasy 16, I bought Resident Evil 4 Remake, I bought Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and before that I bought Resi 8 Village. So that's literally the games I'm buying now, like Capcom games, Square Enix games. I'm not really buying Sony games much now, because they just, like Spider-Man 2, I do want to get Spider-Man 2, I just don't want to spend like 70 odd quid on it. I'll probably play that when it comes to PlayStation Plus, to be honest, like next year or something, because it will have been out for a a couple of years by then. But I've been doing a lot of gaming on like my Steam Deck, just using like remote play and stuff like that, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm looking at the Switch 2. Maybe the Switch 2 might be interesting, at least for the next 3 or 4 years, because I just don't see much from Sony that I'm that interested in. Like, I would play the Wolverine game, but you know, it's not like, oh, I need a PlayStation for this. So if they make a PlayStation 6, it probably won't be out until like another 4 years anyway, because they might bring out a PS5 Pro, and I've got no interest in that, to be honest. It'll basically just be 4K 60 FPS, right? Indeed I am, Josh, great to see you too. Any speculation on what MM are working on next? Maybe an evolution of the Dreams formula, or something completely different? To be honest, I think they're done with Dreams. You know, a lot of the founders left, and there's a lot of other employees that left as well, and the last thing they were hiring for was multiplayer stuff, so it might be like a live service game, but maybe, I don't know if it'll be Dreams 2. I don't think so. But nah, I haven't heard anything from what they're working on, so it's possibly going to be a game that comes out with the PS5 Pro. Who knows? But I've kind of not lost faith, but I'm just not holding my breath anymore. I'm just going to let them work on whatever they're working on, and hopefully it turns out to be really good. But they let go of a lot of people. A lot of level designers left, and the guy who was the sound designer, I think he left, and there's lots of people that left, or I should say got made redundant, because Sony got rid of them all. So who knows? Means game companies will affect for first party exclusive games. And Xbox is basically coming to PlayStation now, so is there any point in having an Xbox anymore if they don't have exclusives? I reckon they might be working on something similar to Tearaway, some kind of platformer maybe. Yeah, my guess was something like, you know, Splatoon on the Switch, where it's like this, it's a shooter, but you fire paint, and it's kind of quirky. And I thought, you know, maybe MM, they could make some kind of fun, quirky multiplayer game, live service thing. Could be, you know, interesting, like a crafted kind of shooter, you know. But I don't know if their style would get popular, you know. Too niche, I think. Especially with layoffs. Yeah, they're making mass profits now, these game companies, but they're still laying everybody off. It's another reason why I'm kind of not looking forward to trying getting into the game industry, or even like independently, because it's rough. Now if it's really a good game that's stuck in the past, cough cough, Bloodborne definitely deserves to have. Yeah, they need to, like, at least, I don't know why they don't put out a 60 FPS Bloodborne remaster. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult, and people would buy that. Like, Bloodborne 2, I prefer a Bloodborne 2, but if it's not From Software making it, then I'm not that interested, because other Souls-like games from other companies, I think they're okay, but From Software, they're like, you know, the king at making that kind of game, and I don't know, I think if they're going to make a Bloodborne 2, it has to be with From Software. I think Sony are running out of ideas. It's just recycled stuff from 3-5 years ago. They must see these PS4 games as vintage relics that need updating. Yeah, the whole PS5 generation has been a bit of a mess, because it's like they had a lot of excuses, like, oh, it's because of COVID and we couldn't do a lot of things, and then we were working from home, and, you know, that set us back. But all that's done, that's finished, but they're still, I wouldn't say easy, but it's kind of like they're just making easy games, you know. Oh, let's remake The Last of Us, let's remake Horizon. It's like, It's too easy, you know, to remake something like that. I know Naughty Dog are making a couple of games, but is it going to be finished in time for the PS5? Like, are they going to actually make a proper PS5 game, like an original one? Or is it going to be the PS6? You know, who knows? Maybe they'll get one game out at the end of the PS5 life cycle. And then you've got PlayStation VR 2, which was supposed to be their big push at VR, and I don't know, they just didn't do it. You know? So I'm like, I'm glad I did not buy a VR 2. Because it's already dead. Which is kind of sad, you know. So much potential. But like we always go on about it. Where's the PS5 Dreams? Again, just could have just made that and made a bigger push. Put it on PC, do something, but no. But like I said, I'm leaning more towards the Switch too, to be honest. Like I'm basically only playing, like I said, Resident Evil games, Final Fantasy games, and anything that comes on PlayStation Plus, I might try. You know, if there's a game I had my eye on, mostly RPG games, you know, maybe I'll play something. But for the vast majority of games, I'm just not buying many things now, and I'm more interested in just playing really good games, like original games, and seems like the Switch has a lot of cool things. Because I've never really liked the Xbox exclusives. I've always felt like they were not generic, they were just okay, you know, they were just okay. It's not really my thing. I don't mind shooter games and stuff, but it just wasn't doing it for me, you know. I'll just put some more of the cliff edges here. Facts, yeah. That's what happened when a company gets big and greedy. Corporate gets in and destroys creativity. Who's hurting? Definitely the developers. Remake Demon Souls. Yeah, they did remake Demon Souls, didn't they? What I can't remember the company's name, but it was basically just like a graphical kind of update. I bought it for full price just because I had the PS5, and I was like, you know what, I need to have a couple of games that are just on the PS5, because like I got Miles Morales and I got Sackboy's Big Adventure, but they were also on PS4, so I was like, I'll get Demon Souls Remake, but you know what, I barely played it. Bluepoint Games did. Yeah, that's the name, Bluepoint Games. Yeah, apparently they're like, oh, they're working on Bloodborne 2 or something. Or maybe a Bloodborne remake, I don't know. See, I wouldn't mind, like, if a Bloodborne remake came out with like really good graphics and 60 FPS, I would get that. That would be perfect. Like, I make some exceptions for these remakes and things like that, but not all your games, do you know what I mean? Yeah, we'll leave that like that for now. So it's a very small kind of cliff edge. But yeah, I don't mind remakes, because like one of my favourite remakes of all time is Resident Evil 2. Like the first one is really good, but the Resident Evil 2 remake, that was really special. It's so good to play, like it's insanely good to play. And I played hardcore mode on my first run. It was so difficult and so terrifying, like when the lickers were coming after me, and you just knew like if you got caught you were done for. And just the whole game is just so fun. So when it's done right, it's amazing. But if they're just remaking stuff for the sake of it, then what's the point? Bluepoint are making a new IP. Oh, interesting. Bluepoint Games are supposed to be working on a new original game for PlayStation, I think. It's funny because I'm sure the last thing I read about them, they were like, oh, our next project is going to be based on a big franchise or something. But I guess that was just rumours or something. Yes, true. I think I'm getting too old for these Souls games, played all of them, but have only completed one. Yeah, I've only completed Bloodborne. I got pretty far in Sekiro, and Dark Souls 1, 2 and 3, and Demon Souls. I just got like maybe halfway. I actually technically finished Demon Souls, the original on the PS3, but I had help from a friend who was like obsessed with these games, and he basically helped me get the platinum and everything, because you could just drop all the weapons and pick them up and you would get the trophy. So kind of cheated, but the game was good, but it didn't click for me. I think Soulsborne games they need to click. So I could appreciate Dark Souls, Demon Souls, blah blah blah, but it wasn't until Bloodborne where I finally got it. Like, it became addictive. I loved exploring, finding all the shortcuts, and just learning from the enemies, and I got really good at it. Like, I don't know how hard Bloodborne was compared to the other ones, but I got pretty good. I was like defeating all the bosses without dying, more or less. And you just feel like a badass. Plus those weapons that could transform, they were so cool, and you could like combo into the transformations, and you got health back if you attacked within a certain amount of time, so it encouraged you to be more aggressive. Dark Souls is all about like putting your shield up and like looking around corners and being more defensive. This kind of felt like Bloodborne felt like you could really have a lot of fun with it, But a lot of the spin-off games that come out, not spin-offs, like other companies trying to make similar games, like Lies of P, that's a lot like Bloodborne. It's like that kind of Victorian, kind of Lovecraftian kind of world, but it's made with like androids or robots or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just another okay game, Doesn't have that magic touch that obviously you get with From Software games. So this beach, I don't know how wide this section is going to be when you come out. But I basically want it to be like there's going to be like a trail of sand, like a path. So like when the water comes up and it kind of floods part of the sand. So I'll work on like proper shapes later, but let me see if this works. If I just get like a sphere, and we'll just pretend like this is like a, you know what, I could actually maybe just squash this, and then maybe that will be a bit better. You see what I'm getting at? When you put it in the water, it kind of swallows it up a little bit. So I'm just going to like, there will be like a path that you can kind of follow to get to like another island. So I'll make like a proper sand trail that goes away off to like another island. We'll put another cone island here. So I want it, you have like the main island in the middle, and then you can kind of go off into like these little side islands, So we'll just pretend that's like the sand, You get the idea. If you have the power to make a game, what will it be? Are we talking like an original game, or if I want to see a sequel to something come out? Because I'm mostly just like RPGs and survival horror games, so you know, I'm always looking forward to Resident Evil games, but it would be nice to see them try some new things, like the Outbreak games that are online. That would be cool to come back if you can have like a proper survival horror with like 2 to 4 people, but actually make it survival based. But I was saying to one of my friends the other day, I'm surprised they've never tried to make a Resident Evil game like a Soulsborne game, where you're constantly dying and having to find ammo and health supplies, like the original games, but just make it like a progression system, kind of like Dark Souls, where there's going to be like these big bosses spread out and the sections are really difficult to get through. I don't know why they've never tried to make a game like that. Still waiting for War of the Monsters 2. Is that like a Godzilla kind of game? I remember I saw something like the first game was on like PS2 maybe, if I'm thinking of the same one. I can't remember, but yeah, it was like Mad Godzilla kind of game. Let me see here. So I'm going to make like I want to make like a path that you can kind of climb up. Don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but I guess I'll just put it here for now. Or like here or something. So some of the side quests, I want to make a Siren's Cove, where she's luring people in, basically to feast on them. So I'll make that at some point. I'm going to make it like, so we've got the central kind of area. I'm going to make it so that you can kind of, the cliffs are, the big mountainous bits are going to be in the middle, and you can actually walk like all the way around. But there's going to be a section here where you can actually cut through the middle. So there'll be other little islands spread out over here. Some of them will be small and they just have like a little bit of treasure or something. Others, there might be like a side quest. And I'm going to make, I think I'm going to make like the cove over this way. So if you cut through the shortcut, or if you run round this way, you'll get to this section of the beach, of the shore, and you can actually do a whole other side quest, or you can just ignore it, follow the main path and ascend the cliffs to get into the main sort of cavern to get to the next area. No, I mean like if you're a developer and had to make an original game, I definitely would make my own survival horror game. Like if I could make the game I'm going to make in Dreams, I would make it in Unreal Engine. I just don't have the know-how yet, or even the finances, because I was looking like even for an indie game you need at least $10,000, because you need to think about all the legal fees and all the marketing, all these kind of things. It all adds up on top of like paying yourself to actually make the game. And I see a lot of these indie game devs that are on YouTube, and a lot of them, they save up money for a few years and then they just quit their job and they just live on savings to make their game. But I think it's really risky, because if your game doesn't sell, then you've wasted years of your life and all that money, and it's just too risky. So if I ever make a game one day, I'll probably use like Kickstarter or something, and I'll basically just be like, okay, if this gets funding, we'll make the game, and every game I make will just basically be like, if we get the funding goal, then it becomes a reality. If not, then I just don't. But I'll definitely make a full game at least one time in my life, whether it's in Dreams, whether it's a free game that I release on PC. You know, I'll definitely get there one day. Just got to wait for the right timing, I think. But yeah, I think an original game, survival horror game. Maybe I'll make like that Dark Souls kind of Resident Evil kind of game. I think it would be interesting. Because there already is a shooter game, it's called Remnant, and it's kind of like a Soulsborne shooter game. It's a little bit arcadey kind of feeling, but it's the same idea. It's like Gears of War, but you fight all these bosses as well. So if you could make something like survival horror themed, a bit more realistic, I think it could work really well. But I think horror games in general, they're popular. They don't need to be too long. Whereas RPG games, I don't think I could make an RPG game like as an indie dev, because it just would be too much work, I think. What's that game called? That's right, Gigabash. Those devs were inspired by War of Monsters. Yeah, I tried Gigabash on PlayStation Plus. It was pretty cool, but I didn't have anyone to play with, so I think I completed like a couple of the campaigns, trying out the different monsters. And it seemed decent enough, but definitely more multiplayer focused. Hey Spectrum, welcome back. I've got a very blocky scenario here. I don't know if you can see this image. This is how the original design looked of the beach when I used community assets, and I was using like a different level design. And I basically said, you know what, I'm just going to delete everything and work from a blank canvas and try again. Gigabash just isn't the same. It never is it? It's always like these spiritual sequels and things, they never quite hit the mark. But I think one game that did for a lot of people was Stardew Valley. Like that tried to make like a Harvest Moon kind of game, Story of Seasons, and apparently that's really good. It's even better than the actual games. So I suppose now and again you'll get a really good game that was inspired by another game, and it's a lot better. But yeah, it's not easy. Like survival horror games, that's why I want to make one, because a lot of the indie survival horror games nowadays, I don't know, I feel like they missed the mark. Like there's always something about it that's just not polished enough, you know, and it's like, I don't know, it's just, they could do a bit more, I think. So I'd like to give it a go myself and try and make something that lives up to the classics, but also is good for modern audiences as well. If you ask me, I love to see Godzilla Unleashed remastered. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk good things about that. That's another PS2 game as well, wasn't it? If you ask me, I will make a game about dubstep gun. Dubstep gun? What is a dubstep gun? I'm surprised there isn't a Soul-style game with a prehistoric theme and you fight dinosaurs. Well, Monster Hunter is close enough, I think. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I think the thing about Monster Hunter for me is it gets so repetitive. Because it's like you have to grind and pick up these plants and berries and, you know, skin this animal and, you know, find like, cut off certain parts of it, get certain bones and tusks, and just to get better weapons and armor, and it's like rinse and repeat and again and again and again, and it's like, oh my god, it's enough. I can't do this anymore. Like, I still need to properly play Monster Hunter World. I know it's going to be the same kind of game, but it looked like it streamlined a lot of things. And I think the latest one, Rise and Sunbreak, I think that became like more arcadey a little bit, so easier to play. But when I first played Monster Hunter, it was on the PSP. It was the first Freedom game, and I didn't get the second one because I hated the first one. But I got the third one. I think it was called Unite. I think it was like the last game they put on the PSP, and I barely played it. I can't get any Monster Hunter, but I want to, you know, like I want to enjoy it, but there's just something about it that's just, I don't know, I'm finding it difficult to get into. But yeah, a Souls-like game with dinosaurs could be interesting. Even if they do what Remnant does with guns instead of using melee weapons, you could definitely make something with that. Basically, a gun shoots out dubstep. Best example is in Saints Row. You can shoot people with dubstep. That's so wacky. Yeah, definitely would be a big seller, I think, for people that like these kind of crazy games. Let me see, what was I doing here? So it's just like me building like the cliff, kind of. This is the hardest part, I think, about designing when it comes to like elevation. It's like, how can I build a level that goes up, you know, up, up, up. Because I want it to be like, I don't want it to take forever to get to the top, you know. So I'm going to have to like think of like layers, you know. Like I could just make it keep going up, like up, 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 up like that, you know. Like you're just constantly walking up. I think that's a little bit boring. So, you know, I could try and straighten it a little bit. And then I can like make another bit that kind of goes up. Maybe I'll bring it to about here or something. And then I'll probably, like I could bring it up like just a little bit, you know, not too much, you know, so there's always an ascent, but just a little bit more. And then I'll just make another bit that just kind of, again, just kind of comes up a bit more, you know. And then, like I said, I wanted to make a bit where you have to cross like a bridge, you know. So you could come up here. This is like maybe like on the top of the cliff, you know. Like it's not a massive cliff. Like your character's kind of small, so from down here, that's still pretty high. Like I don't want to make the cliffs like, you know, like huge like that, because I think it's a bit too towering, you know. I just want to make it like you could potentially stand on it and jump down. But I'll change the scale as we figure out what's going on. So I'll just kind of bring this to like, kind of like to the edge. And you get the idea. I'll sort of bring like the floor kind of comes out a wee bit. then I'll kind of cover these bits so it kind of matches with the height of everything else. You know, just something rough. It's a bit messy right now, but I'll just throw another few blocks here just to kind of pad it out a wee bit. Okay. Probably need to do the same on the other side as well. There's a lot of aspects I find to be appealing about Monster Hunter, but sadly don't have the time for it currently since it's an insanely grindy game. Yeah. Like I said, I tried the beta when Monster Hunter World came out and I actually really enjoyed it. But the PSP games, no, I couldn't get into them. And I also tried Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate on the 3DS. And apparently they added a lot of stuff like a proper story mode, and you could actually like climb and mount all of the monsters as well. But I just found it really complicated because it's like, oh, you had to climb up like a tree or a mountain or something and then try and jump onto the creature, and it was always kind of awkward because Monster Hunter, it's like the movement is very stiff, and I always hated like when you used like the big sword. It took like 5 seconds to like swing the sword, and by the time you swung it, the monster had already like jumped out the way, and so I was like, oh, maybe I should just use like quick weapons, that way it's easier. But then they're so weak that it takes forever to kill them, you know. But I properly tried 4. I think out of all the Monster Hunter games, 4 on the 3DS is probably the one I played the most, because I must have done about 3 or 4 maps, and I made a decent dent into it, kind of, but I just couldn't stick with it, you know. Just didn't happen, you know. But again, it's like you said, there's some interesting aspects about it. There's things I really want to like about Monster Hunter, but I just can't quite get into it, you know. Like there's just something about it that's just you know. I can't wait to try Monster Hunter Story. I've played, I tell a lie then, like I didn't count it because it's an RPG game, like a Pokemon kind of game, but I did play the first Stories game on the 3DS, and I'll say this, it's definitely interesting because you can recruit all the monsters like Pokemon. You can find eggs and hatch them and train them, but the core loop is kind of the same thing. You're still gathering like plants and bones and, you know, trying to upgrade your weapons and your armor, and I felt like the 3DS version was a bit laggy, like it didn't feel that smooth. I don't know, I guess that might get fixed in the PlayStation version, but it did seem like it was going to get quite repetitive for me, like, and the combat is good, it's just slow, because it's like you do a move and then you need, your monster does a move and then they do a move, and it's just like the animations take a bit longer, and it's alright, but I've not played the second one. But I suppose that of any Monster Hunter game, if you like RPG games, you're probably going to like the Stories games, because they play more like traditional RPG games, you know. Great audio, great designs, great combat, though just super time consuming. Yeah, I just don't like how clunky Monster Hunter is. Like, that's my biggest problem. It's just, you know, it's just doesn't feel fluid. You know, like see if they made a game like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, but it was Monster Hunter. That would be super cool. Like, just you know, you can just make the dinosaurs and the monsters a bit beefier to kill. But you know, jumping around and doing all your combos, and that would be super cool. I know there's a class in Monster Hunter that my cousin and I had a lot of fun with. You have like this big lance, and it's quite quick, and you can actually use the lance to like propel yourself forward, and you can like do little jumps, and you can use like this air kind of stuff when you're in the air to push you forward and stuff, and that was a cool class to use. I just don't think it was the strongest one, but for traversal and stuff it was pretty fun. Is that the FF8 OST? Yeah, it's actually a collection of Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 and 10, and it's remixes, so it's not the original tracks. It's like someone's made a remix and put them all together. So you're going to find music from all of those games. I don't know how loud it is. I tried to keep the volume down a little bit so it doesn't get too loud. Funny thing about Monster Hunter is that you can run around and grapple with a huge weapon on your back just fine, but when you start fighting, your character wants to act like the weapon is so heavy. That's a good point, actually. I never thought about that. But yeah, like when you actually go to attack with the big sword, it's like, oh my god, this is horrible. But yeah, when you climb up a cliff, or on the new games you can climb and scale the monsters, it's like paper on your back. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like their back muscles are really strong, you know, their legs and everything, but as soon as they have to use their arms to lift up that sword, oh my god, too much. Takes it out of you. Has anyone actually made like a Monster Hunter kind of game in Dreams? That would be interesting to see. It would probably be extremely janky, but I would play it just for the fun of it, you know. So we'll kind of put up like, it's not going to be like barriers, but it's just an idea to see this is like where the cliff kind of ends, you know. And I want to make like a bridge, but it's going to be made with like planks of wood, but I'm not going to make like every individual plank right now because it would take me forever and I'd have to keep moving it. So we'll just pretend this is the rough location. So you're going to come up here, and you can probably, maybe I'll put like a chest there or something, because whenever I play like games that let you explore, it's like there's a big area here, but it's like if they don't put something there, then what's the point, you know? So I'll just put like a chest at the end, so you know, like wherever you go in this game, it's not just going to be a big empty space. There's going to be some kind of reward waiting for you at the end, you know. So I'll just kind of block this part off as well. Right. It's just so I don't want the player to climb onto these parts because they're quite low, but I'm going to put like lots of grass here, so it's like you can't actually go there. I'm not even sure if I'm going to let the player jump in the game. I probably won't. So I just wanted to make it so it's like you can clearly see, like, you can't go up that way, but, you know, there is something there. And this is going to be like the top of that cliff, so you can kind of look down. And that's why I wanted to make like all these other side areas, because it's like you can actually see the scale of the islands and stuff. And it's like if you look at that island, you might see like, oh, is that a chest over there? Like maybe I could go and get that, you know? So I'm going to put like a few little islands, like, you know, just around, you know, nothing crazy. Just kind of put them like here and there, you know. Okay, so it's been almost an hour and a half. I estimate I can probably get like a rough version of what I want before I finish today. Because the only thing I want to do is, so I'll make this bridge, right? This blocky bridge. I kind of want to make it a decent size, because I want it to be like this big grand thing that you need to cross, you know? And underneath, you can actually go underneath, and there's going to be like skeletons and like dead bodies and stuff, because they fell off the bridge, you know, on like a really windy day, you know. So you can actually explore this part here, you know. I'll keep extending this for now. Instead of duplicating it, I'll just extend it. I don't know how far it's going to go overall, but on this side I might need to make it a little wider. We'll see how that looks. It's always funny doing blockouts because it just looks like a complete mess. Like, what the hell is that? Look, it's like the edge of the water. You can see it all coming through the sand. Look. Right, I'll need to test all this as well, because I'll need to actually see if I've got the scale right as well, you know. So like, is this bridge long enough? And obviously we're going to have like the cliff part. It's going to come down like that. Let me just have a quick peek, right? So this is a big enough beach kind of area, right? So obviously it won't be a straight line. I'll kind of curve bits and pieces and make little trails that maybe go to like the other islands and stuff. And obviously there's going to be rocks and trees and foliage and grass and all that kind of stuff. I might even extend this just a little bit more, because I still feel like I'm a bit close to the cliff. I kind of want it so that you can look up and see like, ooh, you know. So I'll probably make this a little bit longer and see how that looks. When I do stuff like this, I always end up taking screenshots so I can see later on how it changed. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Or even like saving different versions so you can actually explore everything you've done since. So we've got the little chest behind here. Obviously the character's not going to walk this fast, you know. It's got to be more like that, you know. And then you can maybe do a wee sprint. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So we'll have little bits here. And then we'll kind of go through here. So we're not going to climb yet like in the old design. I was going to climb up that way, but now I'm going to go this way. Oh god, with Cyber Spy, I end up saving online after every tiny change, so I ended up with 50 versions for each scene. My god. I basically only save online if it's a significant change. So if I can finish the block out today, I'll save it online. And then again, if I add detail, I need to like finish a good chunk of it before I'll save online again. So I'll just save like locally, which is dangerous because if the file corrupts, then it's a problem. But so far so good. And most of the time they're still not finished. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like you might finish a tree, put the trees down, and then you save online. Yeah. So I'll probably just create like this little alcove or whatever it's called, and then you'll come back out and you'll see like the first thing you see, actually that's quite good, like you come out and you see that big island over there. So I'm thinking like one of the first side quests probably gonna be like over on like a little island here. So I'll expand this, I'll make like lots of trees, like a little forest. You can go around, maybe enter the forest. Don't know if it's a forest or a jungle, but it's, you know what I mean, it's like those kind of islands that just have tons of trees. It's quite dense. And I'll fill up this empty space with like more trees and whatever. This is probably going to be the first area that you see enemies as well, so it's quite good that it's quite wide open. So there's more space to fight around in. Thing is, whenever I save locally, it just spams me with "you've got no space." Yeah, I had to delete tons of stuff and try not make too many scenes locally, because then yeah, it eats up your data so quick. So I'm going to make it like, so you've got the choice after you get to this point. It's going to be open-ended. I'm not going to make it linear, like I'm not going to block off that part of the beach and then say like, oh, you need to go up this way. So it's going to be like, nah, you can go this way, you can do like a side quest over here. There's a few more islands you can explore for treasure or for other objectives, and you can actually walk around the entire island. And if you get to the to this part, basically, there's going to be like another island there that I'm going to flesh out. But you can actually go through the islands until you get to the other side, and then there's going to be like the Sirens Cove over here, maybe like a little crab island or something, you know. So it's like you can go this way. So you've got the option to explore all the way around the island that way, and there'll be other islands over here. And then this is like, so say this is like part one of the main cliff. Once you cross the bridge, you're going to get to the second part, and I'm not sure how far I'll let the player go, because I don't want it to be like so expansive that they get lost. I want to make it clear that, okay, you can go here, you can go there, or you can go up there. I'll probably put in like quest markers and stuff, and if I can make a map, I'll try and make a map. But basically that's if you just want to do side objectives and explore and fight other creatures and stuff. It's an RPG game, so it's up to you. You can stick to the main quest or you can do side things. Not gonna lie, I haven't used up any of the free slots I made from before the live service went down. I'm the same, like I did it in advance. So all of this game, The Legend of Beuveretta, all of the scenes are basically reserved online, but this is the first one I've used, and I think I've reserved about 30 scenes maybe, and then I reserved a ton of extra elements as well so that we can make the soundtrack. And I didn't do it with Subject, because Subject I already made like really basic templates already, so I'm just going to overwrite them and use the same ones. So it's just Subject in this RPG game, that's the only slots I've got. So any new slot I use, I worked out like I can make a full game in maybe like 30 scenes or so. if I really condense them down. Because this scene itself, if you do everything in this scene, it's quite big, and there's enough maybe to last like an hour or so. So for subject, I was making like every room was its own scene, but now I'm trying to condense like several rooms, or like a floor, like the first floor and all the rooms in it are basically going to be one scene. So that way, I think subject had like close to like, I don't know if it was like 60 or 70 scenes, but if I condense it down, I could easily condense it to like 20 or 30. And since there's 2 character campaigns, like I can either condense both characters into the same scene and just use a variable to determine what character you're using, so what changes in the scene. If I can fit both characters in the changes in the one scene, that's yet to be determined. If not, I'll just need to make a separate scene for the other character, but I've got space for it, and I've got space for this game. So any future games, if I make a Subject 2, if I make another horror game, if I make another RPG game, I've got enough space to make maybe another 4 or 5 games, to be honest, if I keep things down. Plus I've got another account, or I could just make another account as well if I really want to publish more stuff. Because for me it doesn't matter what account I put it on, because it's the one YouTube channel, so I'll just send you the name of the project and you can check it out there, you know. So I'm going to have to figure out how this is going to look. So it's like you're going to climb up. It's kind of straight right now, but I'm probably going to make it like a little more winding and put like some things like rocks blocking your path, so you don't just walk straight up, you have to kind of, you know, maybe walk around a wee bit. Same here, maybe like a couple of enemies or something. The walls aren't going to be that high, I'm going to fix that so it's less blocky, you know. But it's wide enough that you can have combat and not feel too claustrophobic. So I think that was a good kind of size to go up. So this is where you're gonna come from this point. You're gonna see like that's like a dead end, because if you look down, you can see you're gonna fall. I'm not sure if I'm going to let the player fall, if there's going to be fall damage, or if you're going to die, or I've just make an invisible wall that says you can't fall off the edge. Since it's just like an arcadey game, I could just like let you fall off the edge and just don't lose any health, you know. It's like a shortcut, you know. You might be up here and you might think, oh, there's a side quest over there, oh damn, I need to go all the way down again and all the way around to get here. It's not so fun, so I might just let you jump off and go. Who cares, right? Oh, like that. Oh, but this one actually did kill me, because it still has the settings for it. Hey, I make things. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great day. We're just trying to make a really rough block out of like a beach, kind of rocky, mountainous area. And we've got like the islands in the background. All that's going to be sand down there. We've got the bridge here that takes us to the next area. So once we flesh out how everything's going to be structured, we can actually make like the proper graphics and proportions and stuff. So yeah, if you don't go across the bridge, you can explore the rest of this cliff. There's a chest going to be here. You can see the other islands from this side, so it's just a reminder like, hey, you can actually go down here and explore a bit more. And the bridge, right now, like because of the blocks I'm using, the bridge is quite wide, so it's not going to be as wide as this, it's going to be a bit more narrow. So you can expect it to be like from like this point to maybe like this point. And it would be really cool if I could animate it, if I could make it like really windy and the bridge just kind of like sways a little bit as you're going across it, so it's like, oh, you know. bit like Crash Bandicoot, where there's like missing planks and stuff. You need to kind of maneuver around it, you know. Just try to see if this is a good length, because it's a long bridge. I want it to be a long bridge, because this is going to be an important moment of your bravery to get across to the other side, and then we'll be on the other sort of cliff. So I just need to flesh out more of that. We'll put some more of our cone islands on the other side here, just to sort of say like, yeah, there's going to be more. There's going to be more islands over here to explore. Hey Yummy Fish, welcome to the stream. Click on exit creation. Oh my, imagine I did that without saving. That's one thing you've reminded me to do. Don't exit until you actually save it. So I don't actually care that I'm going to lose this. I think this is saved online anyway. But even if it isn't, I've kind of scrapped this original design anyway, so I'll just do a quick save. Look, your storage save is nearly full. Beware. Been loving the chat, guys. I need to go back to Dreams soon. Yeah, definitely. Even if there's not that many of us still creating, still kind of good to see what everybody's up to, what you're all going to be getting on with, you know. So this cliff here, let me see. So we're just going to do a blocky kind of bit here, just to sort of give the idea of the structure of the rest of this cliff kind of area, but you're not actually going to get access to this part. It's really just to block it off, you know. So this whole section here will just be like grass on the top, you know, like it's basically just going to be like a big bit like that, you know. You're not actually going to get to go inside that part. So yeah, one side quest on this side, one side quest going to be on this side. Whether or not they have like fetch quests where you need to go to like different islands and do different things, like Small Who Man gave me the idea that there could be a treasure hunt. You need to find maybe some clues around so you can find the treasure, and maybe there'll be like a big X marks the spot at some point on the beach that you can find and dig up. Right, so let me just put some more of the walls here. So like I said, you can kind of go up this way if you wanted to follow the main story, or you can go through the middle bit underneath the bridge. I don't know if I'm going to let you go like too far around the island, because I don't want people walking like all the way up here and then it's like there's nothing really there, you know, and then they have to walk all the way back. And if it's too big, you know, I think it can be a bit tiring, you know. So we'll see if I can create enough objectives, and I might open it up a bit more for people to explore a bit. Click on search for Spiffy logo. Spiffy logo. Are you a bit of a logo designer, I'm assuming? Right, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how wide this cliff part's going to be. But I think we've got like the base idea sorted. Kind of going to go up this way, across to the second part, and then you're going to like ascend a bit more to get a bit further up. One thing I want you to do is, like, rather than going like straight through the middle, I'll make it so like you kind of go up the side of the cliff first. Because if I do it, my original idea was like to go up the middle part, but then I think it's more interesting if you go around the side and you can still see like the islands and the ocean and stuff. So if I just make like a more of an ascent here, and then maybe you can add like a small kind of like a very small kind of cave, just kind of at some point that you can enter. You know, maybe there was somebody taking refuge in here, and there's like a little fireplace or something, you know. So like, just keep it there for now. You know, something like that. So it's nice to have some like extra areas that you can kind of explore. So as you go up, I guess I'll make it like you eventually turn a little bit. The only boring thing about blocking out all this is the walls, you know, trying to get everything like kind of structured. But because you use like the same shapes, it's not easy to like match everything up. Even though it is a block out, it's supposed to be kind of weird. So say we get to like the top here. So this is the part that I don't have any ideas for yet. I'm still just trying to figure out, because I had some time to like plan out this kind of stuff, but this second kind of cliff kind of area, I'm still not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it. So I'll make like a rough kind of idea as I go along here, and then I can edit it later once I get some clearer ideas. I could make it like say you could actually go this way, right? So you cross the bridge, and then it's like, okay, there is a path that leads up the mountain or the cliff, but I don't know, it's blocked, or there's some kind of danger, and it's like you can't actually go up. So you have to like take a detour, you know. So maybe I could do something like that, so it's not just all cliffs and like linear. I don't want to make it like, I was going to just block it off like that, so when you get across it's kind of like you have to go this way. So I need to decide if I'm going to block this off or make it there, but then there's something else here that basically stops you from going any further, you know. I'll just kind of block it like that for now. I like it when games let you go both ways, so it's like they don't just like block you off instantly. It's kind of like you can kind of go around this side. But eventually you'll get to like a dead end, you know. So again, I could probably put like another chest or something, you know. So even if you go the wrong way or you just like to explore, you're always going to find something, you know. Because I mean, if you're over on this side, you can kind of see there's a chest there, you know. So it's not so hidden. So if you want to ascend, you need to go this way. There's a little thing in here. Like, I don't know what I would put in here yet, but you'll keep going up and up and up. The idea is that you're just going to try and ascend as high as possible. So I don't know if I should do it like that. I think I might do it like bring it a bit more over here, and then again you can just like ascend a bit more and a bit more, you know, and make it a bit more steep. Just keep going, I think. Let me see, because I could make it like the perfect kind of shape, or I could cut it, you know. Because maybe that's what I can do. Like, you can explore around this side, but then it kind of comes in like this, you know. Like maybe there can be like another little cave or something, or a little bit in here, you know, that you can go and explore, and then the rest is kind of blocked off. And then I guess I could make like just like a big kind of blocky part here. So this is when you know this is like the proper dead end, you know. So yeah, I think I'll just keep building this up. Once we get to like the top part, there'll be like a big battle to get into the cave, I think. Just need to figure out, you know what, I think I'll make it a bit wider, because I think it's structurally wise, I think it needs to be a bit more spread out a bit. We'll make it like that. Because that would kind of fit with that kind of wall, do you know what I mean? Like if we build that up, kinda kind of matches like that part. So I think that's a good kind of height for it. If you use the left, right directional buttons, I think you can duplicate them continually in the same direction, so you could make some curly paths. Curly paths. Yeah, it would be. I know what you mean. Like if you do like, you have to something like that into it. Yeah, kind of weird, kind of. Could like make it like that, kind of like curves all the way around, you know. I think it'll be good. Like once we make like the proper assets, it'll look really nice. I think it's always really awkward when you use like these blocks because it's so blocky, you know. So yeah, we're just kind of going up and up and up. Like I don't really know the structure yet, but it's kind of taking place. So you can see like this island bit here is a lot smaller. When you're on the ground, it'll look quite big, but this one's even bigger. It'd be cool if my sculpting was good. I could like sculpt like a big skull on this rock. You know, that would be quite a good sight to see. You know, you're looking up from down here and you're like, oh my god, big skull. But yeah, I'll just kind of keep doing this just to kind of flesh out the idea of it. So I'll just put the same kind of idea. I'll just make another path that kind of goes up again. Maybe I'll try your curly thing. Ooh, look at that. Woo, woo, woo. I hate when it snaps. Look, see it kind of snaps like that. It kind of bugs me because it's like I don't want it to curve that much, you know. I just want it to curve like a little bit, but no, it's like it gives you fine precision when you get to that point, like here, but this part it's like it's horrible. You can create some weird shapes. Look, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa! Can you imagine animating this? This would be wild. I'm gonna try that again. Yeah, I don't want to make like a staircase, but it's difficult to get like exactly what you want, you know. Could do something like that just to keep it interesting. Just kind of build around that point. So it's like you're not ascending the same kind of way, it's just kind of like a broken kind of path. But yeah, I'll just kind of throw it together for now. And then we'll get this kind of bigger kind of area here at the summit, you know. Let me see. Yeah, something like that. we'll put like the entrance to the big cave cavern thing. I'll probably make it like the opening of it like super huge, you know. Like, I don't want to make like a little small entrance, you know. I want it to make like this big grand kind of thing, you know. Like, you are about to enter this big location. So like, even though I'm going to release like all of these locations individually with their own quests and stuff, like the main objective, like, you could probably just rush through this, because all you're really doing is going from the beach through here, climbing up here, going across this bridge, going up, climbing up this, you know, part here, and then you're going through here, and then that would be like the end of the main sort of section. But the main mission isn't really that substantial in each area, because it's more like you're going to go in here, you're going to go to the cave. When you leave the cave, you're going to go to the grassy fields, and then you can go to like, there's a farm, and there's the castle grounds, and there's some ruins you can go to. So like, collectively, when I put all of these areas together, the main mission will be quite long. But obviously, if you explore, you do the side missions, every individual scene will keep you kind of busy, you know. Because I don't want to go too far and be like, oh, I need to make like this really long level, like, because this isn't a level, do you know what I mean? This is just one area of like, let's say 10 in a single chapter. So I don't want to force myself to make a huge kind of thing, you know. So I'll just kind of roughly kind of just put a few things here and there, you know. I'm not going to fill all of the sides up because it's kind of boring. But I'll probably like put like another edge to this part, because you're not going to see behind this part. This is just going to be the kind of like the base of this cavern that you're going to enter, you know. I'm going to have to figure out structurally what I'm going to do, because this part I might just make it so it's like a little hole that kind of goes through, you know. And then we'll put like bits here that support in between, you know. This is just the rough idea, you know. So yeah, it's just piecing all that together. Let me see what else can I do. Just kind of block this off a wee bit, you know. Probably need to do the same on this side as well, you know. Bring some of this up just to fill out the blanks here. And I want to do the same on this side as well. Just copy these, do it really quickly. This kind of reminds me of like early Dreams, when it's like they used to just make stuff with like really abstract shapes, you know, and not really care about the structure, you know. It was just more about getting something and piecing it together, you know. So we'll fix all that stuff later, I guess. So yeah, I'll just kind of block some of this stuff off for now. Okay, so I'm still going to have to like figure out what I'm going to do for this part of the beach, but I'm going to like create like sand trails so you can go to like different parts of the smaller islands, and lots of like crabs that you can fight, you know, crinkly crabs. But to be honest, structurally I think we're kind of getting there, you know. Just throw a few things here and there just to get the rough idea. So the only thing I need to structure now is like these islands, like where they're going to go and how they're actually going to look, because right now that's just a placeholder. So I'll need to create some unique kind of islands. One that's maybe got more of like a forest of trees that you can actually go inside and explore just a little bit. And the cove, the Siren's Cove, that's like a small area, but you can actually go inside and explore a little bit. So they're the things that I still need to block out. So I'll save this here for now, right? If I get time later, I might finish the islands and try and block out as much as I can. If I don't get time, then possibly next Monday we'll do another game dev live stream. I don't know if it will be this project or some other project, depends how I feel next week, but assuming it's this one, we'll finish off the islands. We'll make sure everything kind of structurally works, and then we can get into actually, you know, I'll fix the quest design just to make sure I know where everything's going to go, and then we can start making like the proper graphics and start putting everything together. I think it will start to look really nice, get all the lighting in. Off stream I'm probably going to work on the character, get all the gameplay kind of sorted, like the animations for the combat and the enemies, and we'll eventually put those in. But I think the structure's kind of getting there, you know, so I'll probably put a bit more detail in here because it's a bit plain, this little bit here. I need to figure out, maybe I'll put like little bits you can go up on the side to avoid some enemies on the ground or something. So we'll keep ascending. We'll have the character talking as well, so as you're kind of walking about, it's going to hopefully stay kind of interesting. This bit's a little bit steep, but I'll fix this when we make the actual graphics. So once we finally get to the top, you can even come down here and see everything below. Hopefully the frame rate still looks okay, because I've never made a game this expansive, and if you're trying to make like good graphics and lots of detail, I don't know how it's going to perform on like a PS4, so we'll probably need to test that out at some point. I still got my old PS4 as well, so that's quite handy. But yeah, we're going to come here, and it's going to be like this big sort of entrance, like you're about to enter this big cavern. So the main objective is just to get from there to here, fight some enemies, go to the next area. If you do choose to do the extra stuff, there's the chests that you can find, there's a couple of side quests that you can do, there's more of the islands you can explore and other little bits of the beach. And at the end, if I've still got like some thermal to work with, I might add some extra details and maybe even another side quest if I can fit it all in. And I'll try and pack out every scene as much as I can, so it will feel like every scene's been really like handcrafted to the maximum. So we'll probably continue finishing off the blockouts of the islands on the sides, and then we'll start with the graphics and figuring out what we can actually do with the quests for the next stream, I think. Lots of paint strokes on the screen at once is what will lower your frames. Okay, yeah, stay away from paint strokes, right? That's something I was going to do. Like if I'm going to make the palm trees, make the leaves a physical sculpt, because if you make them, like you said, paint strokes, as soon as you duplicate all those trees, it's going to get pretty wild. So I think I'm going to keep it as a sculpt, even the leaves, and we'll just see how that looks. But you know, overall I'm relatively happy with how this has went, because we started off, it was like just a simple beach at the front. Now I've got some more ideas and kind of plotted out the whole kind of area. You know, we'll plot out like other trails that you can go to for the other islands and stuff, like I said, and maybe a few things on the side here and there, you know. But I think next Monday we'll finish adding the extra bits of the block out, figuring out where the quests are going to go, and then we'll start making the graphics piece by piece. We'll see what we can do, try and get it looking pretty nice. That's probably going to take a few streams to get all the graphics done, because there's still a lot of detail we need to add. This area looks huge, can't wait to see it finalised. I know, like in my head it feels small, to be honest, because it's like you could easily just run through it, but once you have the enemies, the exploration, the side quests, little things like cinematic things, like I said, when you cross the bridge I want there to be like wind and it kind of sways, and there's going to be like little story points, and like I said, if you do everything in every scene, it's going to be fairly substantial, especially if I have more thermal to add more things. And like I said, every chapter, I don't know if it's 8 or 10 locations. I think it's 8. You know, if I can do this for 8 locations full of detail, put it all together, make a really good solid chapter 1, I think that's more manageable than, you know, making like the full game. But yeah, I think it's doing alright so far. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll finish this block out and do the graphics and everything and the quest design next Monday. And maybe at some point, once I make more progress, I can actually make some videos to sort of skim through what we've been doing, you know, for anyone that's missed the live streams. So I'm going to head off now. Thanks very much for spending some time with me again today. The blockout stage is always the roughest, but it's gonna look good within the next stream or two. I think we'll get it looking pretty nice. So thanks again for taking the time to hang out today, and I'll see you all again next Monday, where we'll continue this game dev adventure. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.